Hello, everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
So let's start with the conference. We will be having a short introduction about our company, that is Eurasia Research.
You can move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, and walk across the water. You feel defeated, falling on your knees and looking up for some hope tonight. You try to stand up, but you throw your hands up, like you no longer have the strength to fight. You've seen too many sunsets, too many days, ending in the darkest night. But on your own, you'll never know, you'll never know. If you move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water. You move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water. If you believe that all you need is faith, but it's all.
Thank you, everyone, for watching the short introduction about our company, that is Eurasia Research. Now, moving ahead with the conference, we will be starting with the introduction of our company. So I will be sharing the PPT that we have made for the today's conference. Hope you all will be able to see the PPT that we have shared right now.
Yes.
Yes.
So welcome to Eurasia Research Online Live International Conference. Today we are having the conference for the London conference. So these are the participants who will be participating in the conference today. And moving ahead, 5 countries today will be participating in the conference. We are broadcasting this conference on Facebook Live on multiple pages of Eurasia Research. The links for the live sessions are shared in the chat box. You will be able to have the link of our Facebook page. So request you to follow the Facebook page of our company. You will be getting the link over there in the chat session. Welcome to Eurasia Research International Conference. Please allow me a moment to introduce Eurasia Research to you in a nutshell. Introduction. With over more than 1 million satisfied members and associates spread across the globe, Eurasia Research is a scholarly association who have been working for nearly a decade. Eurasia Research has organized several successful international conferences, workshops, and training programs at various reputed institutions and grand venues. Eurasia Research has been tirelessly working for research world and have not stopped their endeavors even during COVID era, and have presented research community with online platform which was safe and convenient method to continue with their passion. Objective. We are in an international community of researchers, practitioners, students, and educationists who aim to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and to create opportunities for networking and collaboration. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research publications, academic awards, and scholarships. Some of our key highlights are below. We provide scholarship to deserving candidates to promote students and research scholars to participate in the international conference. Young Research Scholarship is provided in the form of a full registration fee waiver with scholarship. We have vast experience of publishing papers for more than 7 years. Our associated journals publish original papers, review papers, conceptual framework, analytical and simulation models, case studies, empirical research, technical notes, and book reviews. We cater to more than 30 plus themes in the area of teaching and education and have registered ISSN and have following renowned indexing: Google Scholar, Crosscheck, Authenticate, Crossref, the Keeper's Registry, Scribe, Protico, Road, Directory of Open Access Scholarly Resources, OAI PMH, Registered Data Provider, PKP Index. We will soon be applying for Scopus too. We have a wide network of 100 plus internationally acclaimed keynotes across the globe who share their knowledge and guidance with our participants with open hands. We have a large number of committee members and advisors who support us and guide us through their expert opinions and decision-making capabilities. We couldn't have thought of reaching there without them. We also encourage our participants to connect with more than 15,000 plus followers on our social media platform where they can share their research and interests. Join our Facebook group and be a part of the discussions by researchers and academicians. We also have several collaborations with universities, colleges, and institutes to better serve all interested and like-minded intellectuals. With great enthusiasm and pride, we would like to request our participants to enjoy the benefits of our lifetime membership in just USD 60. We have over 10,000 plus members from across the globe. We would like to share some of our past participant experiences with you. Thank you for your patience and valuable time. Moving forward with the conference. Please allow me a moment. I will be sharing our eminent speakers chat session we had done in the previous conferences so that you can also have the overview what is all about our conferences goes well in every countries and every month we organize conferences. So just allow me a moment for that. Let me introduce with the Terra president of our Eurasia Research. So let's start with the introduction of her.
I am Dr. Lynn Shelley, and I'm currently the Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies at Salient University, as you can see in my background. And I'm currently the president of Terra Eurasia, and I've been involved. I much prefer an on-the-ground conference, a face-to-face conference. I did the keynote for this organization in London last April. I'm doing it again in London. I'm making that commitment to make that trip because I so deeply believe in the relationships and the bonds that have formed, as well as just during the conference, getting to know people and seeing different perspectives rather than just seeing it on a screen. Encourage them to attend a Eurasia conference in general, because I believe in the organization. I'm president of the organization right now. I would encourage them to attend if they couldn't attend in person for financial or schedule or whatever reason. I would encourage them to attend, but I would encourage them to attend in person first, but always, and I continue to do that, encourage them to attend. Nothing but good things to say about the conference pre-COVID. And last year, I did not attend an online conference, so I can't comment on that during COVID. But I can comment on pre-COVID and my experience last year in London. I truly find that the way it's organized, in groups. And the group work that goes on is different than just to sit and listen, which is what attracted me and why I said yes to becoming president. It's organized in a way where it encourages that collegiality and that sharing of ideas and that sharing not only of the research that you present, but in small groups to broaden that discussion. So the way the conference is organized is well done. Often I can't stay for the whole time because of my busy schedule, but I do stay for the one day that I keynote, and the participation is phenomenal. And other conferences that I've attended, as well as done keynotes, as well as done breakout sessions, they don't organize it that way. I organize my breakout sessions and keynotes in other organizations that way, because I feel from my learning styles research that I've done and published on, the best way people learn.
Thank you so much for your patience and watching the whole soul introduction of our company, Eurasia Research. So let's move ahead with the conference. Today, the conference will be going on like as per the schedule. Today, I am Vinita Negi, will be the host of the conference. And let's move ahead with the eminent speaker video that we had done in our previous conferences.
I'm Dr. Zernica Cezarova. I work as assistant professor at Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski in Sofia, Bulgaria. And I hold my PhD from Dublin City University in Ireland. So your first question about my presentation topic, melancholy and myth in the poetry of Theodor Traianov and John Clare. My research was focused on the work of Theodor Traianov, who is one of Bulgaria's most prominent symbolist poets, and John Clare. So I looked at the way melancholy and myth were employed in their poetry, and the sense of darkness, the sense of approaching danger. And I compared some of their poems and analyzed them to show this connection.
Okay, thank you so much for letting us know about your research. That is really interesting, and I hope our viewers will enjoy the same. The next question will be, as you presented this topic and you researched about it, so there must be some challenges that you must have faced during your research journey. We would like to know that as well.
Yes, thank you for this question. I think it's a very important question. So I think depending on the type of research, the collection of materials and sources can be challenging. But
Hello all. There is some technical error. Allow me a moment so that I can check over the technical error and get back to you all. Please allow me a moment.
I'm Dr. Nitsa Wachazarova. I work as assistant professor at Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski, Sofia, Bulgaria, and I hold my PhD from Dublin City University in Ireland. So to your first question about my presentation topic, melancholy and myth in the poetry of Theodor Trajanov and John Clare. My research was focused on the work of Theodor Trajanov, who is one of Bulgaria's most prominent symbolist poets, and John Clare. So I looked at the way melancholy and myth were employed in their poetry and the sense of darkness, the sense of approaching danger. And I compared some of their poems and analyzed them to show this connection.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know about your research. That is really interesting, and I hope our viewers will enjoy the same. The next question will be, as you presented this topic and you researched about it, so there must be some challenges that you must have faced during your research journey. We would like to know that as well.
Yes, thank you for this question. I think it's a very important question. So I think depending on the type of research, the collection of materials and sources can be challenging. But I think with the relevant support and guidance, this can be achieved. So maybe it's important, but it can be time consuming. So I also think in this case, time management is very important. My main motivation was my interest in the topic. And also my interest in poetry translation, which I do myself. And I think this is directly connected to my research. Also, I think comparing Bulgarian and English poetry can be very inspiring from an academic point of view, because I think engaging with literature which is written in different languages builds bridges between cultures. And I see this work as something that actively connects academic communities and creates new avenues for research. Okay, so I think my advice would be for them to have a clear idea about what they want to research and to connect with the international academic community and exchange ideas. But as I said, clarity is very important, as well as being genuinely interested in your work. Okay, so first, I'd like to thank you so much for accepting my proposal for the conference, and also for inviting me to be an eminent speaker. I really appreciate this. And I think the conference was very well organized. I think the email communication was perfect. And I really enjoyed the experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your patience. Let's move ahead with the conference. Now, we will be moving ahead. Today, we will be having a conference schedule as first session will be the keynote talk. First session will be the keynote talk, and session 2 will be team activity and photo session. Third session will be technical talk. Rename your Zoom account with your full name in English. This will help us to record your presence. You may ask your questions related to the presentation in the chat session while the presentations are going on. All the 3 certificates, receipts, and proceedings will be sent to the participants within a week on their mail IDs. The proceedings will include all the full papers and abstracts accepted for the conference. Moving ahead with the publication process. The publication process starts once the registration process is complete. The author needs to send their papers, consent forms, and reviewer details on the email ID, that is convener@eurasiaresearch.info. The abstracts and papers received will be first published in the conference's book of proceedings online. Only the selected papers will be moved in a publication timeline. The review reports will be sent to the author once the review process is over. The final stage of publication starts after receiving the revised papers from the authors. Please note that the publication process takes around 50 to 60 days after the conference dates if all the editorial guidelines are followed within the given deadlines. Let me introduce moving ahead with the today's conference, let me introduce you all with the today's keynote speaker, that is Malini Nair. Her affiliation is Higher Colleges of Technology. Today, she will be presenting with the topic of the impact of AI-driven personalization on learning. Let me allow me a moment to and her abstract will be artificial intelligence is reshaping education, transforming how students learn, educators teach, and institutions access learning. AI-driven personalized learning systems enhance engagement by curating tailored learning experiences, optimizing resource allocation, and providing real-time feedback. These innovations revolutionize knowledge acquisition, ensuring students receive content aligned with their learning styles and needs. However, as education becomes increasingly AI-dependent, critical questions arise. Does AI-driven personalization limit intellectual diversity? Could automation in learning weaken students' decision-making and analytical skills? While AI fosters efficiency, it also risks creating intellectual echo chambers where students unknowingly engage only with algorithmically filtered content. The challenge lies in leveraging AI as an enabler of autonomy and critical thinking rather than a constraint. This research explores the dual impact of AI in education, addressing both its transformative potential and the cognitive dilemmas it presents. The discussion will highlight strategies to interact AI ethically and effectively, ensuring that technology enhances rather than replaces human intellect. Hello, Malini ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So, good morning, Malini Nair. Let's start with your presentation for the today's keynote speaker.
Do you want me to share the screen or you have the video? Would you like to upload
We have the video. We have the video. We will be playing it on your behalf.
Sure.
And we will be presenting your
Thank you
presentation.
so much. Appreciate it.
You're
Thank
most welcome, ma'am. So I will be sharing your video. Just allow me a moment.
you. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Technology, United Arab Emirates. Good morning. It's both a pleasure and a privilege to be the keynote speaker at the International Conference on Education, EduCon 2025. My name is Malini Nair. I am business faculty at the Higher College of Technology, United Arab Emirates. Today, I invite you to explore a topic that is both promising and paradoxical. The growing role of AI in education and its implications for student autonomy. This is a story of advanced technology, but also a question of using it to empower and not to replace human cognition. We live in a world where artificial intelligence is reshaping not just how we learn, but also how we think. AI systems are now capable of tailoring commands, adjusting difficulty levels, and even offering real-time feedback based on a learner's digital footprint. But I must always ask one vital question about it. Are we empowering our learners for creating intellectual dependencies? Zwaki Richter and her colleagues emphasize how AI has transformed education by enhancing it. However, as Holmes et al. Argue, this very personalization might come at a cost, the erosion of cognitive independence. Therefore, though AI didn't optimize education by adapting to particular learning needs, there's a balance that's required, since increasing reliance on AI raises concerns. Let me illustrate this with an example from my own classroom. I teach management courses and subjects that require students to grapple with abstract concepts, ethical dilemmas, and dilemmas. We introduce AI tools to assist students with summarizing research and mapping case studies. Initially, the results were outstanding. Faster turnarounds, higher engagement, and tailored feedback. AI tools like ChatGPT and adaptive platforms help students simplify learning. Soon, a pattern emerged. Many students began relying exclusively on AI, skipping the critical reflection, the questioning, the struggle, all of which are essential for team learning. It became clear AI was doing the thinking for them, not with them. In one assignment, students were asked to analyze a workplace conflict and suggest interventions. Many turned to AI, which suggests perfect solutions: performance appraisal, conflict resolutions, structured interviews. But when put further in class, most students couldn't explain why those solutions were appropriate or how they adapted culturally diverse AE workplaces. This lack of contextual understanding was a red flag. The AI could make understanding, but the students hadn't internalized it. Interesting, some of the students reflected on this during structured interviews. One said, the AI made me smarter, but also lazy. Another remarked, it's like it knows me too well. I stopped exploring outside what was recommended. The third student said, I felt as if AI was controlling my study habits rather than assisting me. These voices underline the importance of re-evaluating how we use artificial intelligence, not just to deliver content, but expand it. Here's the paradox. AI personalizes learning paths based on previous behaviors, but that very personalization may limit exposure to unfamiliar, challenging ideas, form of intellectual echo-chamber. Sing and hear all this, the cognitive silo effect. Moreover, the assumption that past behavior is the best predictor of future learning needs undermines intellectual curiosity, a core tenet of higher education. So here comes a question. How do we respond as How can we strike balance? We propose key strategies. Example, encourage by acting like an Aristotle, not Alexa in the classroom. AI should be a scaffold, not a substitute. Drawing from Vygotsky's social culture theory, learning must remain socially mediated and interaction driven. Let students struggle a little. Let them question the artificial intelligence. Let them compare with human insights. Adopt AI literacy programs. Teach students to critique AI outputs. Every suggestion an algorithm makes should be open to challenge. Thirdly, institutions should demand transparency. They should ensure AI explains why certain materials are recommended. Lastly, combine. Have a high learning model where AI-driven learning is associated with research and human-led discussions in the classroom. We must remind students that the machine is not the mind. AI does not know empathy, cannot read between cultural lines. It doesn't understand, it calculates. We educators, therefore, must teach them to reason beyond the envelope, challenge the outcome, and to remain the authors of their own learning. To conclude, AI in education is not inherently problematic. On the contrary, it has the potential to revolutionize learning. But if left unchecked, it risks producing students who consume knowledge passively rather than actively who listen care, not to dominate, not to but to relate. Let us remember that education is not just about faster answers, it's about the best people. Tell them to act like Aristotle. Don't let AI do all the thinking for students. Encourage students to reason, deduce, reflect, and internalize, just like Aristotle's method. Use AI as a tool to scaffold thinking, not to replace. Therefore, as educators, we must ensure that autonomy, curiosity, and critical thought remain at the heart of it, even in the age of artificial. Thank you for your attention. If you would like to connect, please reach out at the following email address or through LinkedIn. Let us continue this conversation on how to make education both intelligent and human.
Thank you, Malini Nair, for your wonderful presentation in our conference. Any addition you want to add for the today's presentation of yours?
Well, thank you so much. I just want to thank Eurasia Research for giving me this opportunity
You're most welcome.
to be the keynote speaker. I've enjoyed talking about a very new topic which is trending, that is artificial intelligence. Especially being an academician, I always get challenged by where to draw the line, and this is a very good topic to speak on. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. More than
For
happy
sure.
to answer.
Participants are requested to put up your question in the chat box we have right now, and also do follow our Facebook page for more information related to our conferences. Thank you so much,
you.
Malini Nair.
Thank you, Ainu. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate.
Now moving ahead with the conference, let's start with the next presentation for the today. The keynote speaker, for another keynote speaker is there, Mr. Mark Maidzon. Please allow me a moment. I will be sharing the screen for the same.
Hello.
Hello, Mark Madsen. Hello, Mark Madsen is there.
Hello, yes, I am here, yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mark.
Hello, hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you so much. I'm very happy I can be with you.
You're most welcome to the today's conference. So let's move ahead with your presentation. I will be first be introducing about yourself. So
Sure.
let me give me a moment. I will be sharing the screen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marek Matejko. I represent the Faculty of Management at the University of Poland. And at the beginning, I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation and for the possibility to present my keynote speech at this conference. The aim of this presentation is to assess the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on innovativeness and exploration of sources of innovation in the theory and practice of European small business. My speech will be divided into 6 parts. First, I will present the theoretical background and formulate 2 research questions. In the next part, I will describe the research methodology. Then I will present the results. On this basis, I will be able to answer research questions. And in the last part, I will conclude my speech and present references for the study. The whole presentation, the whole speech should take about 20 minutes. Small business constitute the most numerous and resilient group of enterprises in the modern market economy, playing very important social roles and contribute to the economic development almost all over the world. Their classification is based on specific quantitative or qualitative criteria. An example is the uniform formal definition of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises formulated by the European Commission, which takes into account 3 main criteria. First, average annual employment, second, annual turnover, and third, balance sheet total. Given the entrepreneurial nature of small business, innovativeness, understood as the ability to successfully implement innovations into market practice, becomes an important factor for its competitiveness. A variety of approaches to understanding, defining, classifying, and measuring innovation are formulated in the literature. An interesting approach to defining innovation is presented in Oslo Manual. According to it, an innovation is a new or improved product or process that differs significantly from the unit's previous products or processes, and that has been made available to potential users or brought into use by the unit. On this basis, Oslo Manual defines 2 basic types of innovation: product innovation, including goods and services, and business process innovations, including production of goods or services, distribution and logistics, marketing and sales, and other types of innovation. According to this approach, a company is innovative if implemented 1 or more innovations in business practice over a period of 1 to 3 years, usually 2 years. The results of many previous studies indicate that innovation significantly and positively affects small business performance, as well as competitiveness and competitive advantage of small business. It is simultaneously conditioned by many internal and external factors, a recent significant factor affecting small business innovation has been the COVID-19 pandemic, causing far-reaching social and economic impacts worldwide. The literature recommended that SMEs respond to the crisis by using creative approaches to problems to obtain entrepreneurial opportunities for increased innovation. This leads directly to the formulation of the first research question. So how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected small business innovation? Next very important factor for small business innovation are sources of innovation. In previous literature, we can find two main groups of these sources. First, external sources, including customers, suppliers, strategic partners, competitors, universities, and research and development institutions, specialized in meetings, for example, fairs, conferences, seminars, cooperation with consulting institutions, imitation of external solution in the form of benchmarking, for example, and purchases of ready-made solutions such as machinery, equipment, or technological backup. The second group are internal sources, which usually include the company owners and managers, employees, and the outcomes of companies' own research and development units. Another interesting source of innovation is the open innovation model, in which the development of innovation is carried out using external resources with the participation of internal resources. As a result, the innovation implementation processes use internal and external ideas, opportunities, pathways to resources and markets. Confidence in sources of innovation can be undermined under conditions of crisis such as the COVID-19 pandemic. At the time, maintaining relationships with particular sources is a sign of small business resilience, enabling more effective recovery in post-crisis conditions. This leads directly to the formulation of the second research question. How has the COVID-19 pandemic affected the sources of innovation used by small business? To answer research questions, I conducted own survey research on a random sample of 758 innovative SMEs. The geographic scope of this study covered 6 European countries with different innovation indexes according to 2020 Innovation Scoreboard. The research was conducted in Finland and Sweden as innovation leaders, in Germany and the United Kingdom as strong innovators, as well as in the Czech Republic and Poland as moderate innovators countries. All surveyed companies may be perceived as innovative according to 2018 Oslo manual definition. It means that all of them implemented at least one innovation during the last 2 years. The size of the analyzed companies was determined on the basis of European small business definition. The sample consists of 62% of micro enterprises, 27% of small companies, and 11% of medium-sized companies. Also, the timing of research was very important. Survey was conducted in March-August 2021, which enabled a comparison of innovativeness of the surveyed companies during the year before and the first year during the COVID-19 pandemic. The respondents were mainly owners or managers of surveyed enterprises. In the first part of the study, respondents were asked how the pandemic affected the innovativeness of the surveyed companies. Based on their answers, I indicated 3 groups of entities. In the first group of fragile innovators, the pandemic significantly reduced innovation activity. In this case, innovative solutions were fully or mostly implemented before the pandemic. This group consisted of 34% of surveyed enterprises and was dominated by small companies. To relatively greatest extent, companies from the Czech Republic and Poland were included in this group. In the second group of resilient companies, innovations were implemented to a similar extent both before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. This group consisted of 36% of surveyed enterprises and was dominated by medium-sized companies, mostly from Sweden and Germany. In the third group, the COVID-19 pandemic became an important starting point of innovative activity. In this case, innovative solutions were introduced fully or most during the crisis. I called this group an emerging innovators. It consisted of 30% of the survey enterprises, mostly micro companies from the United Kingdom and Finland. In the next part of the research, I analyzed the types of innovations implemented by the surveyed companies over the past 2 years. Based on respondents' answers, it was determined that all types of innovations, according to Oslo manual classification, were implemented in the surveyed entities, as shown in the table. The results indicate that product innovations were implemented to a greatest extent, mainly by surveyed companies from the United Kingdom and Sweden. Very popular were also innovations in communication systems, implemented mainly by companies from Germany and the Czech Republic, and process innovations in production and services provision, implemented mainly in the Czech Republic and Poland. In contrast, innovative logistics solutions were implemented to the smallest extent by only 19% of surveyed companies, primarily from the Czech Republic and Finland. The COVID-19 pandemic contributed to a significant increase in innovations in the area of administration and management, up to 45% versus 26% before the pandemic. Market innovation, up to 46 versus 33% before the pandemic, and the extent of implementation of innovative solutions in communication systems, up to 49% versus 37% before the pandemic. On the other hand, the crisis caused by the pandemic contributed to a slight reduction in process innovation in manufacturing and service delivery, down to 36% versus 41% before the pandemic. In the next part of the study, I analyzed sources of innovation used by surveyed companies. In order to accurately assess the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the extent to which sources of innovation were used, a comparison was made between their use by fragile innovators, means companies that were primarily active in innovation before the pandemic, and emerging innovators, companies that innovated primarily during the pandemic. To identify differences in the extent of use of these sources, the statistical test for the difference between two population proportions was used. The results are presented in this table and indicate that the most popular external source of innovation in both analyzed periods were customers, while internal sources were the management of the surveyed companies. In the external context, cooperation with other companies, such as strategic partners or consulting firms, as well as purchases of machinery equipment or technological lines were also significantly. On the other hand, innovative solutions in surveyed SMEs were introduced to the smallest extent on the basis of an open innovation model and through cooperation with universities and R&D institutions. Also, own R&D facilities were used to a relatively lesser extent, which is mainly due to small size and resources limitations of the surveyed companies. Analysis of the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the use of sources of innovation shows that in most cases, no statistically significant differences were observed. Overall, there was a significant increase in the use of internal sources of innovation, including primarily the creativity of company executives from 44% to 52%, and company employees. However, there was a significant decrease in the use of specialized meetings such as trade fairs, conferences, and industry seminars from 20 to 12%. Based on the presented research results, it is possible to answer research questions. The first question posed was, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected small business innovation? The results demonstrate a differentiated impact of the pandemic on the innovation activity of the surveyed enterprises. On the basis of research results, three distinct response groups were identified. First, emerging innovators, which used the crisis as a catalyst for opportunity recognition and intensified their innovation efforts. These companies were able to mobilize internal resources and respond with agility to changing market needs. The second group, enterprises of fragile innovators, significantly limited or even abandoned innovation during the pandemic. Their retreat can be attributed to specific market conditions, including temporary closures and the inability to adapt rapidly to new operating constraints. On the other hand, the group of resilient innovators maintained their needs at pre-pandemic levels. The defining characteristic of this group was the possession of strong internal resources, which enabled them to absorb external shocks and continue implementing innovative solutions. The results also indicate that companies from strong innovators and innovators leaders countries made relatively better use of the situation resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic to implement innovations than SMEs from moderate innovators countries. The second question posed was, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected sources of innovations used by small business? As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the surveyed companies began to use internal sources of innovation to a significantly greater extent. The focus was primarily on inspiration from the company's management and employees. The use of own research and development facilities has also increased slightly, but it is used to a relatively small extent, which is mainly due to resources limitations of the surveyed enterprises. Overall, the use of external sources remained unchanged. Significant differences were observed only in the case of the use of specialist meetings as inspiration for innovative activities. It was primarily due to lockdowns conditions, which limited various types of meetings and industry events, such as first conferences, workshops, and seminars. The results therefore indicate a high level of resilience of the surveyed companies in terms of using trusted sources of innovation under disruptive socio-economic conditions. A positive increase in trust in internal sources of innovation was observed. Thanks to it, the surveyed companies strengthen their internal potential, which may contribute to the development of innovation in the future. It is also clear that the surveyed companies tried to maintain positive relationships with external sources of innovation. Thanks to it, they will continue to have a good pro-innovation potential during the period of recovery after the crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The presented study offers an original and novel scientific contribution to the understanding of innovative behaviors in small business during times of socio-economic disruption, especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. The research highlights how such extreme external shocks affect not only the level of innovation, but also the nature of relationship that small enterprises establish with both internal and external sources of innovation. The findings also enrich the theoretical discourse by offering insights into how small business adapt their innovation strategies under crisis conditions. This includes both the reconfiguration of internal capabilities and the dynamic engagement with external partners such as customers, suppliers, research institutions, and strategic collaborators. When analyzing presented results, it is necessary to take into account the limitations of the conducted research. They are due, among other things, to the research method used, which is characterized by a relatively high level of subjectivity of respondents' evaluations. I tried to reduce this subjectivity by asking simple, unambiguous questions and conducting a pilot study to verify the validity of the survey question. The limited geographic scope of the study, covering 6 selected countries, is also a weakness. I tried to limit this weakness by selecting countries with different levels of innovation index values of national innovation systems, which made it possible to obtain data embedded in different socioeconomic contexts. At the same time, the importance of the issue undertaken indicates the need for continued research. Interesting prospective research problems may include the assessment of the effectiveness and/or efficiency of the use of individual sources of innovation in the implementation of innovative solutions in small business. On the methodological side, however, it would be valuable to undertake longitudinal studies and in-depth case studies allowing a deeper understanding of relationship between small business and selected sources of innovation in the long term. That concludes my speech. Here you can see all the references used in this presentation. If you need, you can pause the presentation for a moment to get more details. And that brings us to the end. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any comments or questions, I would be happy to open up the discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark, for your wonderful presentation for the today's conference. So anything you want to add up for the today's topic?
Well, thank you so much for the possibility to present my speech. I'm very happy to be with you again, and I hope you found it interesting. My research are not very new and related to COVID pandemic, but I think it's still important issue for business, for social and economic sphere. And for me, it was a little bit interesting that most of sources of innovation sources were not broken during the pandemic, because as we know, many logistic sources and supply chain were broken. So it was a little bit surprising for me. And for me, it is a proof that small business was fragile. Was resilient, and small business was able to still be innovative during the crisis. I hope it will be a lesson for the future in post-pandemic recovery time, and it will help small business in future possibilities of crisis. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Mark Midzen, for your wonderful description for your topic. So let's moving ahead with the presentation. Participants are requested to put up the question in the chat box related to the topic of Mark Midzen. If you have any query, you can put up the question at the chat box. So moving ahead with the presentation, let me allow a moment. I will be sharing further videos. Moving ahead with the today's conference, another keynote speaker that we have today is Dr. Alok Shovikovi. So let's moving ahead. I'm introducing you to Mr. Dr. Oleg. He is affiliated from University Lecturer at Burapha University International College in Chonburi, Thailand. His topic of presentation for today's conference is Precision Agriculture and AI-powered drones for sustainable farming. I will request Dr. Oleg to move ahead with the conference with the presentation. Oleg?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, we are able to hear you. So, Oleg, let's move ahead with the conference. You can share your live presentation in the conference only.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm trying to actually open my screen to share, and
Sure. You may take your possible time to make it share.
can you see my screen or not?
Let me allow me a moment. I will check it. Yes, we are able to see your screen too.
I mean about the drones, right?
Yes,
right now.
exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay, so a good time of the day to everyone. I'm really appreciate that being here, because I was invited like a last minute. And eventually today I would like to present about not the whole project, but part of the project. So basically it's not research, it's a field study, and it has very, big practical importance, and very important for Thailand, where I currently reside. And basically, this is part of the large project. I will show you what was happening during this project, and basically one of the outcome of this part, it's about the testing a computer vision model YOLO on agriculture and live agriculture on the tomatoes. So basically, it's systems that help farmers to recognize ripeness of the tomatoes with help of the drone. So basically, I'll try to be brief. So first part, basically, I'm talking. I will skip. I will try to be brief on this part, but I will try to be more precise on my part of the project. So basically, we have a lot of problems in agriculture, and we all know about these problems. Yeah. So basically, they are not unique for Thailand. They're actually pretty much everywhere the same in the world. Yeah. And part of this project is to help. The aim of this project to help agriculture farmers to do better job, actually, to improve their techniques, their practices, and actually do a greater job. So basically, this is the problems we currently facing here in Thailand. It's like you can see big numbers like this. The butterfly, or we call it arm bomb, actually damaged crops on amount of $260 million US. Yeah, up to $260 million. So, and this has affected areas in Thailand, actually pretty much everywhere. And we have also, we deal with these insects, we use pesticides, and actually pesticides cause a lot of health problem for people, for us. So basically in Thailand, it's death toll about 20,000 people a year. So pretty much great toll, death toll. Currently, we don't have any other tools, or maybe a means how to deal with the problem of pests in in this particular case. So this is how we actually deal with this, basically by hands. We use some sensors, human involvement, but it's actually time consuming and actually not too much productive. So idea was like to try to use drones in agriculture, and actually many countries already use drones in agriculture, but in Thailand it's still at the very beginning of these practices, of this development. So basically, there's many reasons why drones can be more efficient than people. Here you got some reasons on a screen, and so basically we decide to try to implement this drone, particularly in with regards to maintaining, or actually to observing the fields of tomatoes. Yeah, so I will come to this point in a minute. This is what drone can perform. actually can be watchdog scientists, methodologists, field worker, etc. So basically many jobs that drone can perform in agriculture in a field. This is about the project timeline. We're still there, we're still in project, so basically it's not relevant. And basically, let me skip right to the point. We decide to concentrate our research, our practical research on water management, some technology adoption, and basically to respond to environmental concern, particularly to the flood situation, to irrigation problems. So basically, we think to implement as much as possible this microcontrollers. That's Arduino, or more professional one, MRS from MRS Electronics, the German company which make this for the car manufacturers, for Mercedes, for Volkswagen, but actually it's also possible to implement in agriculture. So here you got some information why it is possible, but here exactly about the project itself. So basically, after negotiation with our partners from another university, we decided to concentrate our effort on computer vision, and computer vision practically for spotting the ripeness of the tomato. As you can see from this picture, some tomato green, some tomato are red. And it is important to regulate the watering of the agriculture. I mean, in this terms, like a tomato field, when tomatoes start ripening, because the quality of tomato will improve. And eventually we can do it manually. We can actually go and check everywhere. But the idea was like this. We have drones, we have cameras, and we actually can observe when tomatoes ripening. We don't need to go there physically, because sometimes it's remote areas, and from one greenhouse for another greenhouse is quite large distance. So we decided to explore possibility of using the drones in this situation. So this is, we had the meetings with farmers, we had the meetings with Buropay University Agriculture faculty, and this is what we come up with, what I come up with. So basically, we come up with system which will be used for in greenhouse for the watering. So basically, we have like an automation system, which is not new, it's there in the market, but what is new in this development is that we use drones and we use static cameras to find out about the ripeness of the tomatoes. Once program threshold reached, the system, I mean, this is a computer vision system which recognize how many tomatoes ripe in the field. And if threshold reach, like for example, 20%, that irrigation system built around the CPU will reduce amount of water delivered into the field. So in this way, we don't need to physically go into the field, and actually can be done automatically and remotely. So this is what the idea of the project. And this is simple automation system, because currently actually many farmers, many greenhouses in Thailand, they even don't have these simple systems in place. So basically, we had to develop everything from scratch, and this was part of the irrigation system, for your information. And that was a working prototype and working camera over here, so the sensors over here, and this is also block scheme or design of the project. So basically, I have short videos. I will send links in the chat after my presentation. So basically, after presentation, you might go through and check how it works. It's example how irrigation system works itself. And let me scroll. And sorry. Let me go back and stop it here. Okay. And this is one also kind of innovative part of this project. We actually use open source platform Arduino, which allow us to create the dashboards. And as you can see from these dashboards, the farmer can remotely access greenhouse irrigation settings and may observe what's happening in the greenhouse, and actually can either regulate settings. There's more settings down there. So basically, this is totally free and it's available on Arduino platform. So basically, it's kind of, if you can manage to implement it in farming practices in Thailand, so it's going to be a great step ahead and improvement. So basically, this is how we tested our computer vision system on a real field. So you can see the work of the YOLO computer vision, not computer vision, object recognition system. So basically, and we have some ideas about the probability, how probably the green or red tomato, red or green. So this is on the testing stage. The testing was, I mean, the development of the system was done with help of YOLO version 8. At that time, it was like an up-to-date system. There's many other systems available, but eventually YOLO version 8, I mean, YOLO family allows real-time performance, real-time observation. So basically, as you can see from here, it's pretty much with precision 100% recognize that this is tomato ripe, and this tomato maybe not, sorry. So let me go back. So you can see that precision, we managed to gain or train our model to very high precision. So basically, I don't have numbers right here, but from the pictures, you can see that pretty much very clear that the system actually makes good job. So this is results of the, sorry, I want to move these things and I do not know how to move it. So this is the precision of the model on a ripe tomato, on green tomato. So pretty much about 90% everything. And this means that like a small camera, which you've seen at the very beginning, let me scroll back. This small camera can actually deliver this with help of the YOLO computer model, can deliver this kind of results. And this camera costs only $3 to $5 and can be installed in all around the greenhouse. And it's working on Wi-Fi. So basically, it's can be be one node of the Wi-Fi network system, and eventually very low cost, as you can see, and very good precision. So basically, how it goes then. This is actually how we tested model on RoboFlow, and our job was presented at the conference, a III conference, engineering conference in Bangkok, and then we also have publication on YOLO version 8 for efficient tomato recognition. So basically, our job actually was rewarded by means of this publication presentation at the conference. And basically now we come to the drone part. So at the first we were thinking to use this drone basically we failed because the idea was like we take the real product from live product from the shop and this put our software into the drone and deliver into the field. But it didn't work like this because eventually the producer, manufacturer of this drone not allowed to program this drone. Actually, they are supposed to release system development, software development kit, but they didn't do. So we have to change project, and we come up with, I don't have it here, probably. We come up with a very small drone. We call it tele drone. And here, I might show you. So this is, we were testing how it works on the, we use this kind of drone, small drone, for this is a testing procedure. Actually, it's my room, and I was doing job in my room and tried to test the tomato first in my home settings. So basically, drone had to fly all around the place, take a video of the tomatoes, and then try to process video on in terms how many tomatoes are there in the field, red tomatoes and green tomatoes. And then we do some more job in a greenhouse. So basically, this is briefly about my project, and so I will send the link to you. You can see the links from the in a minute. So basically, we prove that it is possible to use drone for successful, in our case, tomato ripeness recognition, but actually you can apply it to any other culture, for example, or in the future, we're trying to develop it into to spot the pest and do some pest control. So basically, instead of looking at the ripe tomato, we will try to find the pest on the crops, or maybe some infected areas, or maybe some areas affected by weather conditions. And with help of artificial intelligence, we can we can analyze these problems, and we can actually try to respond to these problems with delivering some solutions to the farmers. So basically, in this part of the research that we finished, we managed to use YOLO computer vision system on a drone, and very simple drone, very cost-effective drone, because stellar drone cost only $70, and eventually the programming job takes more time and actually cost more than that. But the concept prove itself. We can do it in a greenhouse, and we can do it in a field, because if we can, it's more challenging to do in a greenhouse to manipulate a drone, because you have to be very precise on the path the drone fly, on the speed, etc. So, but in a field, it's going to be much easier, and especially if you go for the larger, and that's what we're looking now. We go for the, we're trying to program Mavic drone. Mavic is a big things. They cost up to $10,000 US, and actually they can do a much better job in terms of distance, in terms of camera, in terms of imagery, I mean, quality of the images, etc. So this is like a briefly idea about what we're doing here in Burapá University, and together with CMKL University, Carnegie Mellon University from America. So this is joint project, yeah, and I'm actually doing my job on the part of the Burapá University Agriculture faculty right here. So that's it. I hope it was interesting, and I will send a link to you, and maybe you also can have a look at it. So if you have any questions, please feel ask, and I'm trying to copy the links for you. Okay, I cannot hear anything.
Sorry, Oleg, there was some technical issue. Thank you so much, Oleg, for the wonderful descriptive presentation on a very wonderful topic that is very required in today's unhealthy environment, actually, because this agriculture is very wide range of things that is going on with the agriculture department. Thank you so much for choosing this topic, and it's a very wonderful detailed description that you have given against this topic. So
thank you.
And participants are requested to share their views as well as questions in the chat box we have for the today's conference. So you can put up your questions and queries in the chat box itself. So moving ahead with the conference, now we will be having a topic of discussion for the today's conference, where you will be allowed to share your views against that particular topic. So let's proceed towards our team building activity. Just allow me. Let's proceed towards our team building activity. Sometimes we miss the opportunity of connection and linkage with fellow participants of the conference. This team activity is to encourage interaction among all the participants. One by one, we will share the views and solutions on the topic of discussion, and also we will be conducting a photo session during the same. So topic of discussion for today's conference is how to be happy. Video credit and copyright goes to Blue Apron. So let me allow me a moment. I will be playing a short video.
What would make you happy? Can you imagine a milestone, win, or even a material possession that would unlock this feeling? In his animated version of David Steingelhast's popular TED Talk, Brother David explains how a simple adjustment in how you move through the world might just change what you see, how you feel, how you act.
Now, my topic is gratefulness. What is the connection between happiness and gratefulness? Many people would say, well, that's very easy. When you are happy, you're grateful. But think again, is it really the happy people that are grateful? We all know quite a number of people who have everything that it would take to be happy, and they are not happy because they want something else, or they want the same. And we all know people who have lots of misfortune that we ourselves would not want to have. And they are deeply happy. They radiate happiness. They're surprised. Why? Because they're grateful. Now, we can ask, what really do we mean by gratefulness? And how does it work? Something's given to us that's valuable to us. And it's really given. These two things have to come together. It has to be something valuable and it's a real gift. And when these two things come together, then gratefulness spontaneously rises in my heart. Happiness spontaneously rises in my heart. That's how gratefulness happens. Now, the key to all this is that we can not only experience this once in a while, we can be people who live gratefully. And how can we live gratefully? By experiencing, by becoming aware that every moment is a given moment, as we say. It's a gift. You have no way of assuring that there will be another moment given to you. And yet, that's the most valuable thing that can ever be given to us. This moment with all the opportunity that it contains. Does that mean that we can be grateful for everything? Certainly not. We cannot be grateful for violence, for war, for oppression, for exploitation. On the personal level, we cannot be grateful for the loss of a friend, for unfaithfulness, for bereavement. But I didn't say we can be grateful for everything. I said we can be grateful in every moment for the opportunity. And even when we are confronted with something that is terribly difficult, we can rise to this occasion and respond to the opportunity that is given to us. So how can each one of us find a method for living gratefully, not just once in a while being grateful, but moment by moment to be grateful? How can we do it? It's a very simple method. Stop, look, go. That's all. But how often do we stop? We rush through life. We don't stop. We miss the opportunity because we don't stop. We have to stop. We have to get quiet. And we have to build stop signs into our lives. And when you stop, then the next thing is to look. You look, you open your eyes, you open your ears, you open your nose, you open all your senses for this wonderful richness that is given to us. There's no end to it. That is what life is all about, to enjoy what is given to us. And then we can also open our hearts for the opportunity. For the opportunities also to help others, to make others happy, because nothing makes us more happy than when all of us are happy. And when we open our hearts to the opportunities invite us to do something. And that is the third. Stop, look, and then go and really do something. And what we can do is whatever life offers to you in that present moment. There's a wave of gratefulness because people are becoming aware how important this is and how this can change our world. Because if you're grateful, you're not fearful. If you're not fearful, you're not violent. If you're grateful, you act out of a sense of enough and not of a sense of scarcity, and you're willing to share. If you're grateful, you're enjoying the differences between people and you are respectful to everybody. And that changes this power pyramid under which we live. What we need is a networking of smaller groups, smaller and smaller groups, know one another, interact with one another, and that is a grateful world.
Experiencing gratitude is closely tied to our ability to express generosity, a trait at the heart of what it means to be human. Explore the potential of small acts of generosity to ripple out, change the world, with Chris Anderson's book, Infectious Generosity. Grab a copy here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the topic of discussion for today. So let us discuss on this particular topic. You can share your views on this to be happy life topic. So Mark, Maizen, Oleg, Joyce, everyone are welcome to have their views for this particular topic of discussion.
So maybe I can start, all right?
Yes, for sure, for sure.
All right, thank you so much for interesting topic. I think the question is very difficult. It's simple how to be happy, but on the other hand, it's I think one of the most difficult question for us as human beings. And today we live in a very special world. We have so many opportunities for us, for personal, for professional development. We can visit all over the world. We can meet many people, and still being happy is a challenge and is not easy. I can say I agree with all of things presented in the video, and I think to be happy, the most important is to live in harmony with ourselves, with yourself, with our beliefs and values. It's very important. It is a fundament of our happiness. For me, it is also very important to have many friends, real people, and develop interpersonal relationships, multicultural relationships, because it's very important to have big views on many things. And what is important for me, it's also important to develop my interests, learn many useful things. And what is, I think, the most important today, do not waste time on stupid things. So I think it's important, and it is a way of being happy. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark Maizen, for your wonderful description for this particular topic of discussion. Oleg, you must be having more views on this particular topic. You want to share something with us?
Yeah, maybe. So basically, I'm living in Thailand like for quite a while already, and I learned from Thai people maybe. Many of them in Buddhism. Yeah, so basically, Buddhism teaches about happiness could be found through our inner peace and mindfulness. Yeah. So basically, what does it mean for me? Basically, it's like, first of all, it's going to be very individual for everyone. Yeah, because we all go our inner world, inner peace, inner mindfulness. Yeah. For previous speaker, sorry, I'm trying to find the name, Marek. For Marek, it's to do new things and to not waste the time. But I was just like kind of try to oppose this idea. This is something good for Marek, but actually for other people, and I see from my students. So basically, for many of them, for example, for Thai people, like eating, yeah, and doing nothing, this is like a totally happiness, and they feel happy totally different ways than we do. So basically, it's has to be very individual. And for me, maybe I got the same philosophy as a Marek. I'm trying to keep active, trying to do something, trying not to waste time too much. And for me, it's happiness when I'm engaged in some activities, busy somehow. Actually, the idea for my project comes from the point that in my 50s, I just finished my study computer science master degree with Carnegie Mellon University. It was like I was thinking like, yeah, the time changed and the situation changed, and I have to do something about this. And actually, my study was about artificial intelligence and computer science. And it was kind of challenging for me, like in my 53, to start some new subject, new topic. But actually, I was happy after I managed to accomplish it. And that's actually a new step for me, new direction for me. And this project actually comes from this direction. So this is happiness to be engaged, to be busy, and actually to do something which is useful, meaningful. Like when I'm teaching students, I actually happy when some of them can produce some. I mean, I see that my teaching actually put some seeds in the good soil, you know, and my students getting smarter, they can think independently, etc. Yeah, and I'm very upset when the students actually cannot get anything from my classes. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe something wrong with my teaching, or maybe something, yeah, I have to change something, improve something. So basically, very different for everyone. And as I said, for me, I calmed down when I came to Thailand first time. I was really like a Western man, you know, too easy to be upset, too easy to get into action. But now I'm just like thinking, okay, let's people happy with what they do maybe, and I probably have to respect the things, yeah. So, and I trying to find peace for myself and trying to find peace for other people as well. So this is my idea.
Thank you, Oleg, for your wonderful views on our topic of discussion, how to remain happy. Actually, this topic is very wide, detailed description that is required, because people usually intend to stay happy as per their situation in daily life, what they are exactly doing in life. So according to their situation, they amplify their happiness in a daily routine of life. So now let's move ahead with the conference. Here I am welcoming Melvin Montezo. He is a keynote speaker for our today's conference. So Melvin, let's start with it. Let me allow me a moment. Let me introduce Melvin for the today's conference.
You very much for
Just allow me. Yeah. Just allow me a moment.
Yes, ma'am. Can I proceed now?
Yes, Melvin, you can continue with your presentation for the today's topic.
Now, regarding with the video.
Hello,
Yes,
Melvin.
doctor.
Am
Yes,
I
ma'am.
audible to you?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You can continue with your presentation on live only, as we have not your presentation received. That.
So can I share with
Yeah,
you
sure. You can share the screen. Yeah.
okay, wait. Can I check if my
Yes,
slide
yes,
is
you are. Yeah, sure.
okay?
We are able to see your presentation. Your screen has been shared with us.
Okay. Hello everyone, and especially to our the host and the all the present of this conference, and also the participants. No, I am Dr. Melvin Monteo from the Philippines. I am now presenting my views and to share with you my topic is about uh, the in relation to the education. As we are part of this the education as a teacher, and we are the teachers. We are very much concerned about our students, what their actually weaknesses, their we're concerned about their knowledge. How do we share their more knowledge to them? But it sometimes that we are considered the uh, well, their behavior students because of this teacher for almost 2 decades. They observed in in my classroom. We have 60, I think, 60 number of students in that section. So different behaviors, different culture from different places that they came from. Then we meet in one place for that classroom. So as a teacher that we need to manage, do we manage their behavior? Then we monitor them what kind of that the approaches that we need. Then also before that we gave the lecture topic to them. Would allow me to give first the quotation from our great philosopher Confucius. The greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time with wind. Since that I am came late, no, in this platform, so I got the actually the highlight of the video is the more on happiness. We try to find it when and how where can we feel happiness. As we started from the small things that how we that's how we appreciate it. It's not to find how big that we eat before that we happy, but we have to start from the small things because the small things it's the one of the give the contributions to the big things. So as we pull, sometimes that we need to show our students that we are so strong as a model, as a teacher, that the student uh, will evaluate us that we are part of their success, no? To shape their perspective about their future. So if we are showing them that we are frail, we are weak, then the student also will lose their interest to their education. So my topic is all about the, the resilience and the adversity quotients of students. So I am interested with this study because as I observed with my students the in the classroom, the student has this different behavior, but we do not know what their background, what their history, and actually it's the problem of their family. I'm the teacher that I will provide knowledge before I know their behavior. Because of this resilience, this is my tool in arm to give to know their background. As a resilient in adversity, this is what my study in. Since that this is the looking at the different stages of life here in the Philippines, that the students were challenging this hardship, adversities, pains, sorrows, or even the ethnic discrimination, poverty, and insurgency. All these things are present in our country, especially um, the the place, where I selected to study, to police study. So the hardship, the adversity, pains, and sorrow is more on the emotional, but the ethnicity or the ethnic discrimination, um, and the poverty and insurgency is the interference of or the activity of the people. So the students are treated with this. Somehow we say the force majeure, it can be it can it can be the interference, the intervention of a different activity made by man. At least this is in the ethnicity, including the poverty, because this is the poverty is the result from the decision making and insurgency. So these are the things that threaten to our students. Right? So connected to the most effective thing is their studies. So therefore, I conduct this study. I conduct this study for to know their resilience, no? Of our students, because the students is indifference, including the absenteeism, the respect to their teachers, the drug abuse, the student readiness, and dropout rates are surfacing. With this absenteeism, we have I always monitor this to my student every time that I have my class in that particular section. So I monitor that these students when the consecutively instances. So I draw attention for the parents. Then some of it I could not reach the attention to the parents, but if I know the address of the student, we have this program in the Department of Education here in the Philippines that we need to home visit. The home visitation to check the student if the interest of these learners is uh, still interesting. Is it interesting? Or if there is a problem of the student, as a teacher, we just find ways on how we can uh, fill those kind of the lacking of the students. No? So this is why as a teacher, we have to consider. So as my study, this is a tool, the resilience on how to develop, although the resilience is innate for the human being, in deal that with adversity cushion, but in the level of our student, still in not in the development as as a teacher, when and how we can what is the those motivation that we can develop them for bringing out uh, innate resilience. Because somehow the students produce a low adversity quotient, they may accept the reality that is their own making. It's somehow that they are admitting that the situation or if they commit mistake, oh, that's their own fault. No, but it's not. No, but it could not be uh, their fault, but it's maybe it's lacking on how they respond to bounce back every time that there is a challenges of the situation. So the student somehow they tend to say this a challenge is beyond their control. Yes, it is true, but it's how we can the develop of the resilience. We can provide they can provide on how to bounce back and solve the problem or the issues. And somehow they hate themselves for the problem they encountered. That is why we have to develop their adversity quotient and resilience, which is significantly increasing and in maintaining those excellence. Because of this uh, being the resilient to have to respond to those acute time. So I studied this and we conducted in adversity quotient and found a positive relationship with academic outcomes by considering the grades and the science and human resilience represents the adversity quotient. So somehow it will be reflected to their degree. Their grades as very low, and somehow they are not participating well. No? If the teacher giving a performance task, then they will not cooperate. So that's the time why these students they are not cooperating the performance task. They are not responding favorably the uh, the design provided by the teachers, including that's my experience. No? Then according to this rules, I stated that the competence in adversity measures the ability of the persons to face these difficult issues one can respond the adverse situation and overcome them. No? It's a bombardment of the different challenges of these young people that they do not know how to respond it no? Those challenges. Like us, no? As a teacher, we knew already because of our experiences. No? I know how to solve the problem. But how about for young learners? That is why I made this study for the resilience no? Because every time that I give a lecture to my student, I should know, I must really know the, the different background of my students. Because of these adversities, those adversities can also ignite the resilience. But the problem is, as the student, uh, they do not know how to use the resilience. And somehow they will from uh, this kind of principles that to response is only to for to measure for response is only for that the level, but it would not be, no? It would not be. It will lose their line to response, but with our help as a teacher, the to respond this kind of the challenges to respond this all those on how to solve the problems is with the guidelines and based on the principles that we are know about how to solve the problem no? Without any uh, it's a win-win solution no? Without any destructions of others also. So I made this research no? By using those two variables, the resilience, then the quantitative, the adversity quotient, using this as non-experimental quantitative, then utilizing descriptive demographic techniques as the result. No? Here in this is the the place no? Where the challenges, the problems or the issues are present. Are in the particular the Philippines, the Mindanao, then the municipality of Quiblawan. So we have six secondary schools, two were the private schools, then the four of it uh, were the public school within the by the municipality. These are this is the place, no, where the respondent reside. This is the population size. No? We have a 540 respondent sampling. This is the participant. They're answering answering the questionnaire. No? So this to test the relationship. Resilience, the adversity competence quotient of the student, which significantly to have this relation between these two variables. So the result, I will show you the resiliency or the resilience of the secondary student got a overall 4.02 high. So by the using of the different indicators. So from the variables of the resilience is we have these seven indicators. It's the vision, the problem solving, determination, organizations, interactions, self confidence, and relationships. So every indicators give assure that there is a corresponding percentage, and the overall result 4.02 and the high. And the second variable is the students' adversity quotient. Overall result is 3.36, which may moderate. So the indicators is the control, ownership, reach, and endurance. No, the the two variables are resulting to the high. No, so the findings include this section. The level of the students' resilience is high. Then the level of the adversity quotient of the student is moderate. So meaning the respondent is favorable ensuring their resilience, adversity, competence, and responding to the chaotic situation, especially in the place wherein the challenges in the province are present from. So that's the result from our students. So as a teacher, as a researcher, we need to have a clear and the scientific response so that we may know how we can have this plan before we have this the food. It's this a topic lecture for our students. So as a teacher, researcher, we need to recommend. My recommendation actually for the administration is to have the leadership training. The student should ignite, develop their leadership. It's an annual school activities list to improve the student participation exposure and to leadership citizen. Because of the situation or the location of the respondent, as may I share to you, it's a lot of problem. Although that the violence so included to our society today. So we need to understand as a teacher, actually not to jump the judgment for them why they are not attending classes, really have this kind of independent behavior. But as a teacher that we need to have uh, nice, no? It's a nice way on how we can give advices to them. So also that recommendation for the students that they need to know to explore more the root cause of the problems and to know the analysis behind the scenarios and issues. That is why the student will know now how to respond to those the problem of what their problem, whatever the shortcomings, then develop their critical thinking, not to jump the conclusion to judge whatever the situations that may happen, but it's to responsible enough to respond all those. So this is one of the critical thinking of not to judge directly or that situation, but it needs to have a process. Then including the parents. As in our here in the Philippines, in the Department of Education, we have this our organization, the PTE. This is what we call the Parents Teachers Association. As an advisor of the section, the classroom, we have to monitor the teachers and the parents have this coordination to monitor the children who have a problem, no? Somehow it's a different behavior, indifferent behavior. So we had to monitor. That is the very aim of the the parent teacher association. We are have this frequent um, monitoring for the children. So the parents should be involved of this of their study, not only for also the teacher, but also the parents. And the teachers also, we know, aware the outside, the inside, and outside problem of the students. To be aware of problem is if it's shared by the student to avoid any as my as a teacher as an advisor of my classroom. I provide the number to the parents, the cell phone number. And then every time that the students now going to school, then there is something of an observance that that's in good mood the student. So these parents will notify me that the uh, that student are not in a good mood. So I will now know what is the mood of the student. And also the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor must have this report from the indifference of the students, the behavior of the students, and to forward it to the guidance so that the guidance now may have to plan on how to respond to this kind of different behaviors of the students. No? And the researchers, so we also include the researcher. Perhaps the researchers are not only looking into what is the situation now, but also the the situation go beyond is a transcendental to know 5 years from now what will happen actually. So the recommendation there is to increase the respondent to if there is an addition, no? And we can consider more profile like age, grade level, and gender. These are the things that we can make a notes, no, a basis for how they can change their recommendation if in case there is a I know that there is changes of the possible changes of the situation. No? So that's our recommendation for also the Salient Research. So I think it's the last slide. No? I know that we are resilient, we are superhero, and we are weak, resilient. But the consideration of our students, that they're still developing. As a teacher, we are the bridge in the future. So as we must show to them that we are strong enough and we are the good models and give them whatever the lose aspect that the resilience and the adversity quotient of the every individual student uh, must develop, then they can bring this into their future. So thank you very much. I am Dr. Melvin from the Philippines.
Thank you, Dr. Melvin, for your detailed description of your paper for the today's conference. Let's move ahead with the conference for today. Just allow me a moment. Moving ahead with the conference, now let us, there is one presenter for the today's conference. I am sharing his details. Allow me a moment. For the today's conference, we have a presenter, Spresa. His affiliation is PhD at the Faculty of Languages, Cultures and Communication, SEEU, Tetovo, North Macedonia, Southeast European University, Pristina, Kosovo. Topic of presentation is study habits of the students in the University of Pristina, Sana, Pristina.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Fresa. Good
Hello,
afternoon.
can you hear me well?
Yes, yes, you are
Hello,
very
yes.
much.
Good morning for everyone. It is my pleasure to be here to present in front of all these achieved professors, and I'm very happy to listen to their experiences and all their hard work. As you presented me, thank you for doing that. I am Shpresa Dragobuzda. I am from Kosovo, from Pristina, the capital of Kosovo. I am a PhD candidate at the Southeast European University in North Macedonia. At the same time, I work as a teaching assistant at the public university here in Gjilan. Is a very big municipality here in Kosovo. I am an English teacher for 10 years now, and I've been teaching English starting from the preschool to the students now. So at this time, I have encountered a lot of difficulties that students are having in Kosovo. Since in Kosovo there is still the traditional methods applying, students are having problems with their study habits and their goals, since they are not combined, or they do not align with global needs. So am I allowed to share the screen and my presentation? Can you see the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
I'm glad. So the study that I did has to do with the study habits of the students in the University of Pristina. I did this study with around 100 students in the University of Pristina. University of Pristina, or respectively, University of Pristina, is the biggest public university in Kosovo. It has the biggest number of the students, and the study was done respectively at the Faculty of Economics and Faculty of Philology. Since I was a part of the Faculty of Philology, I wanted to do this research there. And also Faculty of Economics has the biggest number of the students in the University of Pristina. So this study examines the influence of study habits on students' academic performance at the University of Pristina. It focuses on time management, consistency, environment, and strategies used by students. The background. The study habits are a combination of study skills and attitudes toward learning. These habits determine how effectively students learn and apply information. The purpose of the study was to identify existing study habits among university students, analyze their effectiveness, and other recommendations for improving academic performance. Regarding the research questions, those are: what are the most common study habits among students? How do these habits affect their academic achievements? Are there differences between faculties or genders? Significance of the study. Findings aim to help students improve academic results, assisting educators in supporting learners, and contribute to institutional policy on student support services. Before the study was done, there was a pilot study. A preliminary questionnaire was distributed to 20 students. Feedback indicated the need to rephrase some questions, add multiple choice answers, and improve clarity. Regarding the instruments and participants, the main study involved 102 students from various faculties. A structured questionnaire that I will show in the end was used, consisting of demographic data and 15 study habit-related items. Regarding the demographic findings, 70% of the participants were female, 60% were from the humanities, 25 from natural sciences, and 15 from law and economics. Age, they were between 18 and 25 years. Regarding the study habits, the study focused on time spent studying daily, preferred study environment, use of schedules and planners, last-minute preparation, and note-taking habits. Regarding the results, when they were asked about the study timing, 40% of them said that they only study before exams. 30% of them study weekly, 15% study daily, while 8% only do not study unless there is an exam. Regarding the environment and motivation, 50% of the students prefer quiet spaces, 35% of them study with music, 70% of them use phones while studying, 72% said motivation depends on subject and the teacher. Results regarding some techniques and strategies that the students use to learn. 55% of them make summaries, 30% prefer highlighting notes, 15% rely on group study. Many lack consistent strategies. Regarding the gender differences, female students tend to be more organized, keep study diaries, and avoid last-minute cramming more than male students. Regarding the faculty differences, students in humanities showed more structured habits, while those in sciences often study under pressure, reflecting curriculum intensity. Regarding the discussion of the data, the study reveals a gap between students' awareness and actual use of effective study strategies. Poor time and procrastination management are common issues. Regarding the limitation of the study, self-reported data may have bias limited to only one university and only 2 faculties, did not assess GPA directly linked to habits. Study habits significantly influence academic performance. Institutions must guide students to build consistent routines and self-regulation. Some of the recommendations that were done for the study, there should be workshops on study skills. It should provide mentoring and peer support, promoting digital detox while studying, encourage use of planners. Regarding future research, we need some longitudinal studies across semesters, including GPA or academic performance analysis, compared with international universities. I would like to thank the University of Pristina, respectively Faculty of Economics and Faculty of Philology, students, participants, academic mentors, and supervisors for their valuable support. I would like also to add something else regarding the study habits. I don't know if I was clear enough, but one thing that pushed us to make this study was due to because we wanted to improve learning habits in Kosovo educational system. In Kosovo, like in many countries in transition, students and educators face unique challenges. It is the lack of motivation due to the limited resources or opportunities. Passive learning methods are still common in many classrooms. A growing need for 21st century skills like critical thinking, collaboration, and intercultural awareness. These are some of the main factors, challenges that students and professors and education system faces in Kosovo. Also, the inclusion of technology also lacks in today's schools and universities. So students are still asked to learn and engage in their learning and in their classes in traditional methods. So we wanted to start researching on the factors that are contributing to these challenges that the students are having. But how can students break bad habits like rote memorization, procrastination, or classroom in the disengagement? It is a key step toward improving academic outcomes and aligning with European educational standards. I think that common educational habits that need change in Kosovo are that students relying heavily on memorization, not understanding, late assignment submissions, or lack of consistent study habits, teachers using outdated lecture-based approaches without interaction. Also, there is a lack of training in modern teaching methodologies, overloaded curriculum with little room for creativity, lack of space. Kosovo lacks a lot of space. Universities are having a big number of students, but there isn't enough space for students. Also, schools, there is a limited number of schools, so schools are overloaded with students, and they are working with three terms during the day. Students juggling part-time jobs and academic stress. So the global market doesn't correspond with what the university offers to the students. What are some of the solutions that we can make? I think that in the classroom we can promote interactive learning like debates, role-playing, project work. At home we can encourage time management tools and tech technology-based learning apps. At the university, we can provide workshops on study skills and academic coaching. While regarding the teachers and the institutions, we can provide teacher training in active learning methods, encourage self-reflection and feedback mechanism, promote a culture of continuous improvement. So I think that these are some of the common challenges that most of the students in Kosovo have. So to say the truth, when we did the study, we were expecting very negative results, but we could see that the problem doesn't have to do with the student study habits, because the results were quite positive and very satisfying. But there are some other problems that we were mentioning so far. So I think that they need further research and see that besides study habits, there are some other factors that we can investigate and see what can happen. We can, for example, from memorization, we can move to critical thinking. Are we preparing global citizens in Kosovo? Interculturality is a very important issue that should be integrated into Kosovo education system. And of course, digital tools and ed tech in Kosovo, it should be included as soon as possible in each class in order to increase the students' motivation and their engagement in the class. This was all from my side, so I hope that I was clear enough, and I hope that somehow you understood the education challenges that we are facing in Kosovo. Thank you very much for your attention.
You are most welcome, Ms. Prasa. Thank you so much for sharing your topic of discussion for your further papers. Now let's move ahead with the conference of today. I will be introducing with our next presenter. Please allow me a moment. Our next presenter for the today conference, Joyce Timmer. Faculty of Education, University of the Free State, Bolmfonte, South Africa. Her topic of presentation is Fostering Collaborative Engagement, Strategies for Stakeholder Cooperation in Early Childhood, Zambia. Hello, Joyce.
Hello.
Very good afternoon, Joyce. Hope you are doing well.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning, Joyce. Now let's start with your presentation.
Great. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I would like to say thank you to EduCon for this wonderful opportunity to speak at this international conference. Like the host said, my name is Joyce Andrigumbewe, and I'm a student at the University of the Free State in South Africa. My article that I'm going to share today is entitled Fostering Collaborative Engagement, Strategies for Stakeholder Cooperation in Early Childhood Education in Zambia. Just for clarity, Zambia is a country in Southern Africa. It is one of the countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. And I would like to say thank you so much for this, because it will mean a lot for my academic person. So I would appreciate your observations during my presentation and just your encouragement at the end so that I can work on this. My article is derived from my thesis that is still under consideration by the university. So I will present on the topic Fostering Collaborative Engagement, Strategies for Stakeholder Cooperation in Early Childhood Education in Zambia. Zambia has made a lot of educational progress in terms of ECD. And some of these innovations include early childhood education in all primary public schools, free education from early childhood up to grade 12. And the Zambian government has also started deploying and training early childhood education educators. This is a great way to improve our education system. And so, despite all these positive changes that the government has taken that I've mentioned, that is the introduction of ECE in all primary schools, free education, and ECE teacher training and teacher deployment, there are still other challenges that need to be looked into. And this is the purpose of this article on how we as Zambians can actually help our children learn holistically, because we know that early childhood is the foundation of every citizenry of every country. And so we want to focus on what exactly in terms of collaboration can we do in order to help. And so some of these challenges are ranging from lack of reading, overcrowded places, classrooms for teachers. And so my presentation outline is herein. I'll start with the introduction, background, problem statement, research aim and objectives, the research questions, the theoretical framework, research methodology, procedures in that on data collection process, the value of the study, research and ethical considerations, then references will follow thereafter. And the keywords described in my article include collaboration, partnership, stakeholders, and supportive environment. Collaboration in this, as the screen is displaying, it will be in terms of education. So this is where teachers, administrators, parents, and other educational stakeholders are collaborating or working together to achieve a common goal to enhance student learning and improve educational outcomes. Early childhood education is a program designed for children below the age of 8 to promote their holistic development, that is the physical, the cognitive, the social, and the emotional development. Partnership in terms of education is a contractual relationship among the various agents of development, in particular between the people concerned and those intervening from the outside. In this case, the people concerned are the ECE learners, and Zambia has done so much research in terms of parental involvement. And so this article is considering other interventions from the outside. As we go in the article, you'll be able to see the partners that this research is proposing and suggesting. Stakeholders in education are individuals or groups who have an interest in and are affected by educational policies or practices and outcomes. And so everybody who has a role to play in the life of the child, according to this article in my research, is supposed to be considered a stakeholder because they have one role or the other to play. A supportive environment refers to a setting where students feel safe, valued, and encouraged to learn, which promotes access to learning resources that foster academic and personal growth. And so when we come to supportive environment, like I said, the Zambian government, the Ministry of Education in Zambia has tried so hard to develop all the things that I've mentioned, like the introduction of early childhood, teacher training and deployment, and free education. But the environment needs a very nurtured and supportive giving in order for the children to develop holistically. And so, like I said in my introduction, collaboration in early childhood education is very, very important because this is what shapes the foundational skills and future success of children. According to research, many children that have gone into ECD have performed very well in their future career paths. And so collaboration can be that arm that these children may need in the Zambian education. It requires dedicated collaboration among key stakeholders, including educators, parents, government agencies, and community organizations. The concept of collaboration in Zambia needs to be assessed, given that Zambia has approximately 72 ethnic groups. This implies that different cultural beliefs influence. And so we can be all Zambians, but because we have more than 70 ethnic groups, it means every child is brought up in a different family with different beliefs. And so if other stakeholders are not incorporated, teachers will end up teaching, but missing the cultural aspect, because education and culture cannot be disintegrated. And so in order to cater for these ethnic groups, collaboration is the arm to use in order to overcome these challenges. Early childhood is essential for laying the strong foundation for holistic development. The reason why we need stakeholders, according to UNICEF and other research programs, is because it has been found out by previous research that the foundation of every child is very, very important. And so the country's citizens have the responsibility to promote collaborative strategies. This has been taken by research by the given USAID in 2021. They carried out a research that in countries where every citizen is responsible for early childhood education, such children perform well academically, morally, and in other areas of development. Stakeholders in the Zambian ECE sector, according to my article and research, includes teachers, families. These families are not just immediate families, but even the extended family, because in the African context, a child belongs to the whole community, government officials, religious groups, community members, and even the international organizations and donors. Zambia faces stakeholder challenges like communication barriers, conflicting priorities, policy issues, and a lack of resources. In Zambia, some places, like I grew up in a rural area, in that area sometimes there's no network. And so if we are going to teach a global subject like ICT, it means there is need for communication to be very, very viable. But in some instances, Zambia lacks that. And sometimes the school and the community do not understand each other in terms of what early childhood education means. And so due to ECE stakeholder challenges, according to research, about 65% of children in Zambian education in grades 2 and 3 are barely able to read and write. This calls for attention, and it indicates the need for ongoing efforts to improve educational outcomes for ECE. While we have 75% of children in grade 2 and 3 unable to read and write either English or our local ethnic languages, there is a ratio in classes in rural areas. The teacher to pupil ratio, according to research, may be 1:80. And so in Zambia, in rural areas especially, we still have an instance where one teacher is teaching 80 children. This means that sometimes stakeholders do not understand the teacher to pupil ratio, and they may not understand the reason for small classes. And so we need collaboration. And so this paper recommends collaboration strategies for stakeholder cooperation and engagement that will help to bridge the existing gaps in the Zambian ECE. My research aim was to investigate how stakeholders foster collaborative engagement and cooperation in early childhood education in Zambia. And my research objectives were to investigate how stakeholders foster collaboration, engagement, and cooperation in early childhood education in Zambia. Then also to discuss strategies used by stakeholders to foster collaborative engagement and cooperation in early childhood education in Zambia. And the last objective was to assess how stakeholders foster collaboration to enhance multi-sectoral education ECE partnerships. The research questions are here. How do stakeholders foster collaboration engagement in early childhood in Zambia? What are the strategies implemented by stakeholders to foster collaborative engagement and cooperation in ECE Zambia? And on the last question, we have to assess how stakeholders foster collaboration to enhance a multi-sectoral education for ECE. The reason why I'm saying the research is pointing, or the article is pointing out on a multi-sectoral, because later as we go in the research, you see the type of theoretical framework that I used. It calls for a multi-sectoral, and a child is not a one entity. A child is physical, social, moral, and so if it is multi-sectoral, each sector is going to help develop a part. And so this was my literature review. The years from birth to 8 are recognized as being critical, and this is the reason why we need stakeholders right from parents to understand what the child needs in order to meet their needs and to raise educational standards. It is also necessary to know that beyond the school boundaries, we need to encourage the child in order to be able to attain the highest level of education that we need. Epstein has laid down about 7 or 8 strategies, and in this research I'm taking Epstein's strategy, the last one, which is on the 6th concept of collaboration, that is talking about community collaboration, and so that is what I based my article on. The theoretical framework for my study is Bronfenbrenner's bioecological systems theory. This theory suggests that a child is the middle and surrounded by different systems, the microsystem, the mesosystem, the chronosystem, the macrosystem. And so these systems are the ones that I'm referring to as the family is a system, the religious groups are systems, the health personnel are systems. And so if these systems in Zambia can collaborate and work together, it means that the child will be able to develop holistically, and the issues that we are talking about of lack of reading, developmental gaps can be solved using this theoretical framework. There has been previous studies in Zambia. The World Bank has conducted studies in Zambia, UNESCO, Early Childhood Development African Network or EGDAN, and the Global Partnership. They have conducted some research in Zambia, and according to my own perspective, they have conducted it, but their focus was on the learning of the child, the environment of the child, or making certain policies. And so this article or this research aimed at bridging the gap between the community or the stakeholders and the school. And so this is what this research is looking at. And for my research methodology, for my paradigm, I use the interpretive paradigm. And for my research design, I used multiple case studies because this will strengthen the reliability of my results by corroborating evidence across different settings. For data collection, semi-structured interviews, document analysis, and I also attended PTA meetings just to observe what are the parents discussing in those meetings. My research procedure, it was as follows: the raw data, organizing until the themes, generating and validating the accuracy of the information. And that's how I came up with this article. According to my findings, when I talked to different respondents, most of the respondents were talking about the way that they are not employed, because this is a research that took place in a remote area. Most of the parents, most of the caregivers, most of the people around the ECE schools, they are not in formal employment, and so it is sometimes hard for them to understand the policies. And so that was one of my findings. And the other findings from the respondents was that ECE schools are far apart each other. For example, one respondent said there's a 4-kilometer distance between their home and the school. This means that a 5-year-old child cannot be able to walk. The parents have to escort them to school and from school and to pick them again. And so this was going to finish and to cost them a lot. So they would rather keep their children at home and not enroll them in school because the distance is too much until they attain a certain physical ability to be able to walk by themselves. Distance and time constraints was also another reason that stakeholders do not collaborate in Zambia. Other participants said the government did not inform other local stakeholders on the importance of ECE. And so to some stakeholders or some parents, ECE just means going to school to play. We are coming from a background where school was meant to be book. And so the schools and the government did not make it public to stakeholders for them to understand what exactly ECE meant. Then there are communication barriers and mistrust issues, because of the ethnic differences that exist in my country. Sometimes a certain group of people may not trust the school to take care of their child in a way that is appropriate. So they'll keep their child and they'll not be able to participate. The other thing was also that there's inconsistent in terms of responsibilities and interests. Some parents are farmers, others are fishermen. They would rather do the fishing and the farming, which brings money to the family, than take their time in escorting their child to school. And so the discussion of this article is collaboration among stakeholders is vital for ensuring the success of ECE in Zambia, because every sector will be taking, for example, the other sector will be looking to the issue of resources. The other sector will be helping with the ethnic diversity in Zambia. The other group will be helping with policy development, and the other group will be working on deployment of teachers. And so if there's a multi-sectoral involvement and engagement, it means that early childhood goals and aims will be achieved. Effective stakeholder collaboration can create a supportive learning environment that meets the diverse and required needs of children. Governments, educators, and communicators must prioritize access to high quality early childhood education. And so ensure that every child has the opportunity to reach his or her full potential. This entails that every ECE should be considered with regard to promote local and international citizenry. ECE is a global issue and every country and community has to take it seriously, especially according to Epstein's sixth strategy of communication and collaboration. Investing in ECE through collaboration is necessary to promote individuals' careers paths and collective future of society. When children are taught the right things at the beginning of their education, they are able to involve and to engage even in different cultures because they understand the importance of moral development, they understand the importance of social development and living with others. Applying Bronfenbrenner's biological theory in the Zambian ECE sector requires recognizing that communities consist of diverse systems or diverse groups. Therefore, I am suggesting in this article, and I've written according to the research that I collected, that the Zambian community, all of it should be involved, all the systems should be called for, and they should be able to intervene in issues so that we can at least be able to work on issues of resources, because we have infrastructure resources. Sometimes children sit on stones in class because sometimes stakeholders are not aware of the needs of the children. And so if we include everybody in the education of children in early childhood education in Zambia, there will be better education for early childhood education in Zambia. And so these are the references for my article. I would appreciate your questions, your concerns, your contributions, just to make my research better so that we can upgrade the learning of children in Zambia, especially in rural areas, because I am one that was brought up in that environment. Thank you so much, Educon, for this opportunity for me to be able to present at this conference. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Joyce. Thank you so much for presenting your topic for today's presentation. Let's move ahead with the conference. Just allow me a moment. Now, our today's next presenter for today's conference is Ainur Almaty, Republic of Kazakhstan. Her topic of presentation is Breaking the Glass Ceiling, Empowering Female Leadership in Central Asia's Mining Sector.
Hello, everyone. Thank all of you for your wonderful presentation. Unfortunately, I don't have my presentation, but I can present my article, my paper, Leave. So my name is Ainur Orazbaeva. I work currently in compliance department of a commercial bank in Kazakhstan. But I have over 10 years of experience in corporate law, having started my career in the oil and gas sector, followed by roles in legal consulting and house legal counsel positions. I hold a degree in international law from Kazakh National University. Beyond my professional work, I'm also actively involved in charity and human rights advocacy, especially supporting women and vulnerable groups. Today, I'm presenting a study on underrepresentation of women in leadership roles in Central Asia's mining industry, which remains predominantly male-dominated despite the growing recognition of the need for gender equality. This study explores the challenges that female leaders face, as well as the unique contributions they make to the sector. About the context and challenges, the mining sector in Central Asia is a major economic driver, especially in countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, which have rich natural resources. Despite this, women remain underrepresented at the top management level. In fact, data from the World Bank in 2019 reveals that the presence of women in senior management in Central Asia averages at just 19%, with countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. Women who do occupy leadership positions face systemic gender biases and a range of challenges. These include exclusion from decision-making processes, gender-based stereotyping, unequal pay, and the lack of legal support or policies that encourage gender equality in the workplace. Such challenges are compounded by traditional cultural norms and the physical demands of the mining industry, which often create additional barriers for women. What about glass ceiling? The term glass ceiling refers to invisible barriers that prevent women from reaching top leaders' position, even when they are equally qualified as their male counterparts. In the mining sector, this effect is pronounced due to biased recruitment and promotion practices, male-dominated organizational cultures, and the absence of female role models in senior positions. Women who enter this sector must often deal with overt discrimination, resistance from male colleagues, and the pressure to constantly prove their worth. One significant factor exacerbating these challenges is the lack of supporting policies and institutional practices that promote diversity and inclusion. What about impact of gender bias in the workplace? Takes a significant toll on women's professional growth and mental well-being. Women in leadership roles are often held to higher performance standards than their male peers, and they face harsher criticism for failures. This creates a glass cliff phenomenon where women are more likely to be promoted during organizational crises, which inherently puts them in higher risk, higher failure situations. Despite the many barriers women face, female leadership in mining is associated with significant benefits. Research shows that companies with diverse leadership teams are better at fostering innovation and adopting sustainable business practices. In addition, women tend to focus more on social and environmental consideration, leading to more sustainable and community-oriented mining operations. Studies also reveal that companies with greater gender diversity tend to perform better financially, attract higher quality talent, and experience improve employee retention. What about my recommendations to change this position, these roles of women? The first is the mentorship programs, I think, which will establish mentorship and sponsorship opportunities for women who can provide the guidance and support they need to navigate career challenges. Second is inclusive policies. I think mining companies must introduce clear diversity and inclusion policies that promote equal opportunities for women and encourage female participation at all levels of management. And the third, it is a workplace culture, I think. As I'm working in an office, and I think that cultivating a supporting and inclusive workplace culture is essential for offices. This includes tackling harassment, promoting work-life balance for women and for men too, and ensuring that women have equal opportunities to succeed. In conclusion, gender inequality in Central Asia's mining sector is a pressing issue that requires immediate attention. And by recognizing the valuable contributions that female leaders and addressing the barriers they face, we can foster a more inclusive, innovative, and sustainable mining industry. Empowering women is not only the right thing to do, but is also a strategic business decision that can drive long-term success and growth in the sector. So thank you all for your attention, and I look forward to discuss this in chat. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Ainur. Thank you so much for presenting your topic of presentation for today's conference. With great pleasure and enthusiasm, I would like to conclude that the conference was a great success. Many people have contributed in different ways to turn this event into a smoothly running conference with very interesting presentations. This conference has resulted in good discussions and networking. I owe my gratitude to all the presenters and patient listeners, to the coordinators and the whole staff of Eurasia Research for their constant support. I would also like to thank you all the universities and institutes who have sponsored our participants and people who have directly or indirectly contributed in the smooth conduct of this conference. Upcoming conferences with the Eurasia Research. Eurasia Research conducts conferences around the world. So we are having the upcoming conferences in May 2025 at Kuala Lumpur. June 2025, it's Lisbon and Berlin. This is totally an online conference. July 2025, Singapore, Bangkok, and Bali. Please refer to your friends and colleagues, our pages of Facebook, LinkedIn, and other pages, and also recommend them the Eurasia Research page of the website. Now, let's move ahead with the conference conclusion. So we will be having one short conclusion from the participants of today's conference. What all about the today's conference went well, or what are your views for the Eurasia Research?
All right, so maybe I can start.
Most welcome, Ahmed.
Oh, thank you so much. So once again, thank you for possibility to participate in this great conference and to present my speech. I think conference was successful, as every conference from Eurasia Research, I think. And thank you so much for other very interesting presentations, very inspiring. Many of them were interdisciplinary, and I think it is especially important for us to have view on different topics and see what other researchers do and share our outcomes, our achievements. And I'm very happy to meet you, and I'm sure we will meet on another SSHRA and Eurasia Research conferences again. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark Midson, for your fruitful appreciation for the Eurasia Research conferences. We will be welcoming you with our upcoming conferences also. We will be happy to see you in our future upcoming conferences. Dr. Malini Nair, may I also have views for today's conference from your side?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I'm in class, so I'll be a bit soft-spoken. I echo
Thank you so much
Marik's
for coming
thoughts.
once again.
Thank you, very impressive. And again, it was a pleasure speaking today. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I look forward to more conferences from you. Excellent
Sure,
job,
ma'am.
Eurasia Research.
Thank you so much. We will be happy to see you in our future upcoming conferences also. Oleg Shokovi, we also want to have a views from your side also for the today's conference.
I think the conference was very successful for all of us and heard many different presentations. Happy to be here.
Oleg, your voice is not coming actually.
Sorry, what
Yeah,
about now?
now it's audible. Yeah, it's now audible.
Sorry about this.
Sorry
So
for the
basically,
interruption. Yeah.
thank you for inviting me, and I believe the conference was a great success, and I'm happy to hear that many different interesting presentations and to cooperate with Eurasia for a long time, and I hope we're gonna keep this cooperation for the future, and I hope to see all of you maybe in next conference soon. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you all.
to
Thank you all.
everyone. Yeah, and thank you to organizer especially. Yeah, thank you.
You're most welcome, Oleg. We will be very much happy to see you in our upcoming future conferences also. Safrisa, you are also there. So may we also have a views from your side for the today's conference? Espressa, your voice is not coming. No issues, no issues. Yeah.
I apologize. I am more than happy today, not just to share my experience and my study, but also to gain a lot of knowledge from all the participants and their very, very long experience in education, business, teaching. I really liked the the presentation from the Zambia, from the professor from Zambia, right? Was it from Zambia? It was one of my favorites today, not because the others weren't, but since I'm focused on education and teaching, so I was really happy, and I cannot wait to participate in other conferences as well.
Thank you, Espressa, for your sharing the views for the press conference. We will be happy to see you on the upcoming conferences. Melvin, are you there? Dr. Melvin? Yeah.
For me, this is my second time around to invite me as your keynote speaking. So it's like always that we have this successful conference. Then I learned a lot from the different speakers, different perspective in terms of their culture sharings, then research. It's reflected from this what really happening in our um, society today, and also that we are different. We are came from the different countries, just like the spring, then become a mainstream of the big ideas and opinions within this economic group. So I'm very much thankful for this this conference because all the ideas become strong from the small ideas to big ideas strong for this lives in this more society today. Just for our students, people. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you, Melvin, for your views for the today's conference. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending the conference for today.
Sorry, before you go, can I say something?
Yeah, sure, Joyce. You are most
Yeah.
welcome to share
No,
your
it's
views
fine.
also.
You know, there's an African proverb that goes, a child who's not embraced by the village will burn the village so he or she can feel its warmth. And so I'm grateful for the warmth that you provided as a research. I'll not burn Eurasia because I felt the warmth, and so thankful for the opportunity to present. I'm still a student. I've learned so much on resilience. I've learned so much on the farming issue. I'm coming from a farming environment, and so I learned so much about the farming issue. And from Espressa, I think we are having almost the same situation in terms of education. I am a teacher and I teach children from 4 to 11. So when you talked about gratitude and being happy, I'm like, I think I need to copy this like every day so that I can keep my class on top of the list in terms of gratitude. I want to cultivate it in my children. So thank you so much, and looking forward to another opportunity like this from Eurasia. To everybody who was on the conference, I'm grateful for this virtual meeting. It means a lot to me. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Joyce, and you are most welcome. Everybody is being welcome to our future upcoming conferences. Thank you so much for attending today's conference.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you once again.